All right, welcome back, everybody. And this is my color remover application. This is the first time that I will be using a color remover. This is Paul Mitchell Backtrack. I don't know if they still make this product, but I seem to have some laying around, so I said, let me give it a shot. So it comes with the neutralizing solution that was the color remover and a base conditioning base that is mixed in equal parts with the color remover. Of course, my gloves, my brush, and my bowl and my scale to measure. It is going to be mixed at a 1-to-1 ratio. So 1 part color remover to 1 part conditioning base. Use gloves at all times, folks. It does not matter. There is color, it is a chemical, it will go through your hands. And if it's actual color, it will stain your fingers over time. It may not happen today, but you keep doing it, and continuously, you will notice that your fingers will become a permanent dark brown color. And we don't want that. So definitely practice gloves at all times. And I also have some clips. Now, this color is based off of Avatar. It's a cut that I did a while back and a color that I did. If you are familiar with the Nickelodeon cartoon Avatar, you will notice that this does resemble the Appa, which is the flying bison. So that's why you see that big kind of arrow there. Definitely would define it a little bit more, but style wise, it looked a lot better because it was meant to be a little wet in the front. So once everything was molded down, everything kind of fell into place with the styling. But the cut itself actually came out pretty decent. I really like the way that cut, and that was done in while I was in cosmetology school. So right now, off camera, I'm just mixing equal parts of the color remover to the conditioning base, and then I'll go ahead and apply the color. And of course, I use a whisk all the time. It just gives you a better mix, and you mix it up. I do not know what it is that I'm listening to today on that on the video, but of course, I'm always listening to something. I will say the smell of that is really strong. It does remind me of a perm. If you are used to doing perms, or if you know or familiar with the scent of a perm, that's exactly what it smells like, which causes me to question if this is nothing but like a perm solution. Because you do have a conditioning base, right? That'll to make everything creamy, and then you have like a liquid. Well, it's not really a liquid, it's more like a gel. And you mix those two together. So it's making me feel like, okay, you know, it's something to basically swell the hair shaft so that the color molecules can fall out a lot easier. And then it closes it again by using the neutralizing solution. So I am thinking that that's pretty much what this is, just going off of, my general knowledge of that. But if you are nerds out there just like me and you want to know what's going on, please definitely research and put it down in the comments for others so that they know. One thing I will say that as I'm doing this is if this was on a real client, I would definitely use like a foil on the forehead area so that that product can rest on the foil and not on the scalp, because people definitely do get skin irritations and stuff like that from the chemicals. There is also a product by Famar. I think they're called Bang Shields, and they are like a clear plastic strip that sticks onto the skin, and you're able to lay that down on lay the hair on top of that in color. But for some reason, I haven't had good luck with them. They don't seem to stay on. I don't know if maybe I'm not using them right, but that's just been my experience with them. I've seen people use them before. I don't know what they're doing, but I haven't mastered that yet. So yeah, so you can see that there's product on the forehead, but I wasn't too worried in this particular instance. But normally, I would say definitely put a foil or place something over the head. And in this case, I am just putting it on the areas where I want the color to be removed, pretty much. It's not going to go on the entire head. There's no reason to. There's just some places that were darker that I wanted to get that color out. And the color that is on top of that is darker is a demi. I think it was a Dia Richesse light. I'm not exactly sure which tone it was. But the hair was lifted with back-to-back foils, and then the demi was applied with a smaller brush to get the effect that you see now. So I'm just parting, lifting, and as you can see, there's not too much clips being used because once you control the hair, there really is no need to, everything kind of stays in place. So there's not a whole lot of clipping and twisting that needs to happen. Another thing to note, this video is sped up in real time. The application itself, I think with the setup and all that stuff, took about 30 minutes. This is sped up to about 15 minutes and 37 seconds. So just to give you an idea of how all of that go. Realistically, the application probably will take about the same amount of time as you're watching this video. So it probably will take me about 15 minutes to fully do that application. Because I would be moving that fast that you see me moving right there. But, it's like taking time to stop, adjusting, and getting the camera angles. Another thing to note, if you've watched my other color application video, is not to put a lot of product on your brush. Doesn't matter if you're doing a color, doesn't matter if you're doing a treatment. You can always put more. When you put too much on the brush, you can have a sloppy application as well as a big mess on the floor and on your client. So always keep things nice and neat. It definitely displays your professionalism, your confidence in what you're doing, and it also puts your client at ease. And it helps you to move a lot faster. I know in the beginning it doesn't seem like that, but repetition comes speed. So the more you practice doing it the right way, the more you'll continue to do it the right way, and the faster you'll be able to do it the right way. And I'm just kind of showing you how I pull down the sections and how, like big each section would be. Here you can see I don't really go down or past around because I didn't put any color that low down. So it's just right there at the crown area and then just that little stripe down the center pretty much. And I'll show you how I part that as the video progresses. There's a better view of that. So I don't know what everybody's doing today, but I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope that you are finding some way to fulfill your craft and fulfill your purpose. And if you're not, hopefully this video gives you some inspiration just to grab a mannequin or grab your own hair and start playing around a little bit. Like I said, this channel is all about self-care. Of course, I am a hairstylist, so a lot of my videos will be focused on that. But the whole purpose of this is to feed your mind, your body, feed your spirit, feed your talent, feed your craft, feed your calling. If there's something that you're called to do, definitely do it. And don't worry if anybody is watching or if anybody's looking or if anybody believes in you. Just know that there are people out there who want to support you. There's people out there who are rooting for you. They just don't know that you exist yet. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there and let them know, hey, I'm here. And that's just my little word for today. This definitely feeds my spirit. So I definitely want to pass on that knowledge to you all as you watch. To know that it's not just about hair, but it's about making people feel good about themselves, making people feel cared for and treated. And never forget that customer service. You are there to make them feel good about themselves again. Because you never know what somebody's going through when they sit down in your chair. You never know what brought them there. So you want to make sure each and every client feels that love and attention and care. Now, as you see, I split this down the center, and I use the color remover to kind of like outline that hair so that everything kind of stays out of my way. And from that point on now, I can just go straight down on top, outlining the quadrant. That kind of keeps everything together in its place. That's one of the biggest purposes for doing that, because all the hair kind of stays together. And once you've got the hair now controlled, what you can do now is just split from the top and then apply straight down. And you can tilt that out the way. Now it's your choice, pretty much personal preference, if you want to start from the bottom and go up to the top, or if you want to start from the top and then flip down to the bottom. This is a color remover. It's not a color application, and it's not a relaxer application. So there's no worry about certain things processing faster than others in this particular case. So if you were doing a relaxer application, then where you start does kind of matter, because it would depend upon the hair's resistance. But for this purposes, you just need to get the product on there and get it where it needs to go. So whichever way is more easier and convenient for you, you could definitely practice that way. But and hopefully I'll do one of those, a relaxer, so that you can see. But a relaxer application will pretty much look like this, starting from the top and working your way down and applying in that manner. If you were doing a virgin relaxer, the relaxer would be about 1/4 of an inch away from the scalp, and then you would go back in like I'm doing with my hand, and you'll smooth from the root down. Hopefully, I think I can do one of those. The whole problem is that I would have to find somebody to do a relaxer on to show you, or I would have to use one of my mannequins, and all of my curly mannequins, they are so expensive that I'm scared to like alter any of them. But I would love to show you how to do an application or how I do a relaxer. But I'm not ready to lose that money just yet. Especially when I find like good curly mannequins, I want to keep them as long as possible. With the length and everything, I'm even scared to cut them, even though some of them need some cuts. I have one that I still haven't cut yet. I just barely trimmed the round, the edges of it. And then there's one that I fully cut, but it's still long. Like, I don't want to take it any shorter. Alright, so here I think I'm just checking to see if there's any spots that I missed. Going back and finishing what's in the bowl. That's another tip that I give you. Whatever's in your bowl, make sure that you use all of it. You don't want it to go to waste. Make sure you open up the hair, separate the strands, and reapply. Because there's always some strands in between that you think that you've gotten, but you haven't really gotten. And you don't want to see that. I mean, here's like we're just removing color, but in my color application video, I actually explain why that's important to kind of pull the hair apart and reapply more, because there's always some little strands in there that are hiding and don't want to be touched. I think that is the basis of this. That's the end of the actual application. Those are the only parts of the color that I really wanted to remove. So the instructions are: you mix equal parts, you put a processing cap over it, let it process for 20 minutes, and then you rinse the product out. See if it has, you shampoo twice. In this case, I use shampoo number 3 from Paul Mitchell, which is a clarifying shampoo. You can also use a nice dish soap because you're basically just trying to strip whatever is out of there. Because remember, the hair shaft is open at this point. And then if you're happy with the desired result, as you can see, some of it started to lighten up. You can see it much lighter than it was before. And I'm going to do the shampoo now. So after you shampoo it, if it has reached the desired, that's the end result right there. So you can see it shifted out a little bit, but not completely. And that's all, folks. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, thank you. Make sure you hit the like button.